apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love, and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuned into Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. As y'all can see, the house is packed tonight. Got my man Jeru. What's going on, good brother?
What's up? Good to be here.
No doubt. My man Easton out the UK. What's going on, bro?
Man. Good.
Yo, for people who don't know, we do these shows just for Easton. This is how dope this dude is. That we do a show once a month on Sundays because he can't get us on Thursdays because he's in the UK. So that's just the cosign of how dope this dude is. We have made a date on the calendar for Apartment 5B just for this dude right here. Next up is my man Gnu. Who gets the same exact love because he can't make our Thursday show. So we got to have a Sunday show just to get him back in. What's going on, good brother?
What's good, everybody, man? I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to be back, man. In the mix with everybody.
No doubt. Right. After that, we got my man Neltron chopping it up with us for the first time today. What's going on, good brother?
What's up, everybody? Peace to everybody in the chat, man.
What's
glad
going
to be
on,
here.
bro?
Ain't no Vern. What's happening, man?
Got my brother Ed out of LA. What's going on, Ed?
Yo, man, I'm good, man. It's good to put actual like faces, speaking faces to people I only chopped it up with on Twitter, man. So it's really dope.
Yes.
No doubt. DJ Rack One, what's going on, good brother?
What's good, man? What's good? It's good to be here, man. Happy Sunday.
All right, no doubt. My brother Vern out the ATL, where I don't know what is going on out in ATL.
Hey, man, listen.
All-Star game.
Hey, man.
They wildin'.
Gilly got people in a 5-star hotel shooting dice in the lobby at the 5-star hotel.
First of all, I call bullcrap. He ain't paid no $1,500 a night for no hotel. I'm just calling bullcrap.
Yeah, that's cap.
I agree.
Well, tell me this, because I don't know. Because here's the thing: the only reason why I'm saying this, I know a lot of people bump up prices when there's events. So
possibly. But listen, I mean, that's St. Regis. That's no, dog. I mean, and then if you look at that hotel, no, man, it's too many rooms in Atlanta. It's too many hotels. First of all, it ain't like it's thousands of people here as if it were pre-pandemic. So now I'm calling cap on that. But niggas is wilding, man. They fighting at Cumberland.
That's what I was about to ask you, Vern. Where's Cumberland Mall at?
Cumberland Mall is in Cobb County, right down the street from the Braves Stadium. But bruh, it's been hood for a minute. And anybody that knows anything that's from Atlanta, you don't mess with Cumberland. And only people that go to Lenox are out of towners, scammers, want to be red carpet folks, and jump out boys. So yeah, you get what you get.
Well, you know what? I want to ask you some questions, but I'll wait till we're done because today is in Jersey. We are repping for Jersey today. You know what I mean? If you've ever seen one of the shows where we salute a city or a state, we get a tour guide. So Gnu right here is gonna be our Jersey tour guide. He's gonna take us through his hood. If we ever in Jersey, where we gonna get something to eat, where you get your cuts, get your beard shaped up, where you going shopping, where you getting your kicks. DJ Rack is also
with Jeru.
So we are talking everything.
Still got mine too.
We are talking everything Jersey today. We're talking the top 10. We're talking top 5 MCs, top 5 albums. Who's your favorite group out of Jersey? Slept on MCs on Jersey. Slept on albums out of Jersey. Who's the dopest producer? And then, like I said before, Gnu is our tour guy. He's going to take us through the hood, let us know what's going on. And then we also got to understand Jersey is a big state. So we got South Jersey, we got North Jersey. Me and Gnu are going to talk a little bit about the differences between the two. Because to me, South Jersey is almost like Philly. It's a special, love affair right there. I'm sure the same way with North Jersey is with New York. So Gnu, set us off, brother. Yo, top 5 MCs out of Jersey. Who you got?
Top 5 MCs out of Jersey, man. That was kind of hard, man. So those that know me, man, you know my number one MC. I'm definitely going to say out of Jersey, out of Newark, New Jersey, is my man Reggie Noble, Redman, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody else kind of come after that, man. But definitely, man, got to go with you want all 5 or?
Yeah. Give us all 5.
Yeah.
Give us all 5.
So next after that, I would say Wise Intelligent. You know what I'm saying? From the mighty PRT.
No pick.
I would definitely go with next. I would go with Rod Digger. Rod Digger from the Outsiders. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
After Digger, I would go with another MC from the Outsiders, Young Z.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say, it's kind of hard, man, but it was out of Joe Budden or Tretch. If I could do that, but I would say Tretch. Man.
All right. So you got Redman, Wise Intelligence, Digger, Tretch. You got one more, right? Or did you name 5?
Young Z.
Young Z. All right, no doubt. All right, for me, I'm like you with Reggie Noble. Redman at my number 1 spot. Red is number 1 for me. Number 2, I got Tretch, man. I think a lot of people don't talk about Tretch. When people don't talk about Tretch, I just assume you just heard the singles. Like you didn't hear Yoke the Joker. You weren't listening to the album cuts and everything like that. Because for a time and point, Tretch was a top 3 MC walking the planet Earth. You know what I mean? Now I'm old, so I can't find the dates. Maybe it's 92, 93. There was a point in time when Tretch was one of the nastiest dudes walking the planet Earth. Number 3, I gotta go with, and this is bug for me because I don't even know, man. I'm looking at my list now, like I may not be able to do that. You know what? I'm not. I'm going with Rod Digger at number 3. No, you know what? No, I'm not.
Okay.
He's having an inner war with himself.
Yeah, I'm having an inner war. I'm having an inner turmoil right now.
He like Cuba Gooding fighting in the air.
Now I'm confused. All right, Redman and Tretch is solid. Number 3, I'm gonna have to go Joe Budden. A lot of people don't know about Jump Off Joe. I understand it. People only heard Pump It Up and they think that's Joe Budden's. I used to be one of those people, so I get it. You know, if anybody out there watching got an issue, get at me. I got a mixtape called The Mind of Joe Budden. I have converted a rack of niggas who was like, Joe,
I need that, Phil.
When they finished that
Phil,
mixtape.
I need that.
I
need that mixtape.
I got you. Because I get it. I understand. People watching right now are like, yo, Kill, you're bugging. Like, Joe, I'm letting you know. I'm talking about MC, and I'm not talking about personality. He's a corny nigga. I'm not talking about loving hip hop. I'm not talking about the podcast. I don't even watch the podcast. I'm just talking about Joe Budden's barring you to death. There's a YouTube clip I'll put in a link where it's him, Beans, Freeway. They all up at Green Lantern, and Joe just spazzes.
He killed it.
So I'm gonna go with Joe Budden's on that. Number 4, I'm gonna go Rod Digger. Number 5, I'm gonna go Latifah.
You got my exact.
Wasn't Digger your 3rd?
Nah, I moved Digger to Joe Budden.
Oh, okay.
And let me say this right now because somebody out there, somebody on the panel maybe, but I know somebody watching this. Lauren doesn't make my top Jersey MCs.
She was at mine.
Well, because for me, and I learned this from my brother Nick. If you don't have a solo album, like you can't crack my top 10 if you've never had a solo album. So if you're in a group, you can't crack my top 10 GOAT list because there's a big difference between writing 3 16s and writing 1 16. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying Lauren couldn't do it. I believe she could have in her heyday, but I can't go off of coulda, woulda, shouldas. You know what I mean? She didn't, even with the Miseducation. She'll sing and spit a verse, and that one verse is bananas. But we've done shows about MCs who are dope for a verse, but can't give you an album. So that's just for me. So everybody watching, that's the only reason why Lauryn Hill didn't make that. I had her at number 3 at first, but then like Vern said, I started having some turmoil inside. Like, I can't do it. So that's just that. JR, what's up with you? What you got, bro?
Mine was Redman at 1. 2 was Tretch. 3 was Lauren, 4 was Digger, and 5 was Queen by Tifa.
Okay. All right. We real similar with that joint then. Easton, what you got, man?
Mirrors you guys nearly exactly. It's exactly the same. I got Redman number 1, Tretch number 2, Latifah number 3, Joe Budden number 4, and Radiga number 5. And I put Lauryn Hill as an honorable mention.
Right. Now, is that the same reason as mine, or did she just? Yeah. It doesn't even matter if she had a whole album or not. She's just an honorable mention.
Yeah, I think the verses that we got from her are good enough for her to even be mentioned at this stage. Right. But like you said, I would want to see more from her. I would feel wrong putting her in the mix over any one of those people that I listed there without the material. Do you know what I mean? Because people can say what they say about Big and Pun, or they've only got 2 albums or what have you, but these who've got the whole couple of albums to actually look and see what they were giving us and what they were potentially going to give us as well. I don't feel we got enough from Lauren. But what she gave us was good enough to even be mentioned as honorably, if that makes sense.
You know what? I like how you said that. So for everybody at home watching who's beefing, I think Easton said it perfectly. She's dope enough to even be mentioned. Like I said, that's not my Steve right there. But yeah, you got to show me more. Neltron, who you got with yours, good brother?
I got similar to yours. Redman and Tretch number 2. I think I got Latifah number 3, Lauryn Hill number 4, and let me ask Anu this, or all of y'all. I put Ice-T as number 5.
You broke up for a second
because she's.
Give it to me again. I missed number 2. Just give them all back to us again.
All right, Redman number 1, Tretch number 2, Queen number 3, Lauren number 4, and I was gonna ask if would y'all consider Ice-T as a Jersey? I mean, he's from Jersey, but he grew up in Cali.
He counts. He counts because he was born in Jersey. He just grew up his formative years in LA, and that's just what everything is based off of. I can't. Hey, he's from Jersey. He claims it too. So
yeah.
I mean, that's interesting.
The only reason why Ice didn't make my list was just because, for me, my definition, I say it's every day on the timeline. We all have different definitions for the same words. For me, I think about what you rep. And to me, I just always see Ice-T. So to me, no right or wrong answer. Ice-T is definitely there. But I just know for me, it was kind of just like with Guru. I would never name Guru as a Brooklyn MC. Because he's from Boston, even though he reps Brooklyn all day long. I personally, but I know other people. I know Brooklynites who would be like, nah, Guru we'll claim him. You know what I mean? But for me, it just wasn't. But nah, that's a dope pick with Ice-T because a lot of folks don't even know he's from Jersey. So that was a dope look right there. Vern, what about you, good brother? What's your top 5?
Y'all excuse me, man. I'm dog sitting my crazy wild dog fight. he was wilding because ain't nobody else here.
Put the fight.
He putting up forward. But I got Tretch, Redman, L Boogie, and y'all know I don't care what nobody think. That's what I got. Number 4, Rod Digger, and 5, Latifah.
All right, no doubt. Rec, what you got? Nice. First of all, Rec, what part of Jersey you from? And I apologize. Hold on. Gnu, since you the tour guy, rep your hood. What part of Jersey you from?
Yo, from Trenton, New Jersey, man. Trenton in the building. What's good, everybody?
All right. And what part of Jersey do you rep?
I'm from Willingboro, man. That's about 15 minutes from GNU, up 130, up 295. Pick which way you want to go.
Yep. All right. So, Rec, who you got for your top 5?
So, I got to put this disclaimer out. I don't count Latifah because I put her in a whole different light. I don't count her as a spitter from Jersey. Like, she's worldly to me when it comes to this question. So I didn't count her. I didn't put her in here. I gotta put that out there.
Oh, let me ask a question, good brother. Let's go deep with that. But why not? Because she reps Jersey. Like, so I mean,
she does. She is a spitter. I'm not saying she's not. No,
I'm just asking. I'm just because you said she's worldly, but it's like Big is worldly, but you would still put him in Brooklyn.
She reps Jersey all day, but when I'm looking at my list, I just felt as though I could put her in a different category.
All right.
So I'm not saying she's not from Jersey. I'm not saying she's not a spitter. I fuck with Latifah hard, real hard, but I just didn't put her on my list.
All right.
I'm going Redman, Wise Intelligence, Tretch, Joe Budden,
Kill converted me to a Joe Budden fan after that mixtape. They'll try and use.
I'm telling y'all, it works. This is like the fucking COVID vaccine over here, man.
Because early on in my apartment 5B career, I was looking at Kill like he was the craziest nigga in the world.
I'm used, bruh. I'm used. But you know the funny thing is, it's almost and not to make everything biblical, but it reminds me. To me, Paul was so dope in the Bible because he used to diss Jesus and used to diss God. So when he got down with him, it's almost like you kind of know how people are gonna come at you because I used to come at those people anyway. So to me, that's one of the reasons Paul was so ill. And that's the same thing with me. Like I went to a Joe Budden show, and my people were so hyped to see Joe, and I'm like, that pump it up, nigga. Whack ass nigga. You know what I mean? And it was the first time in my life I've ever been at a hip hop event and I felt left out. Like the whole crowd was just word for word. Niggas left the show hoarse. This was 2009. I haven't seen people leave a hip hop show hoarse since the 90s. You know what I mean? Since like me and Gnu at Morgan. Like so, and I'm just sitting there at the bar like, ain't this some shit? I don't know a word whatsoever. And I went home and downloaded all the Move Music mixtapes and been a Joe Budden fan, the MC fan ever since. So trust me, I when people look at me crazy, I understand because I used to look at other people crazy for rocking each other.
My fifth is Rod Digger.
All right, no doubt. And Eddie, who you got for your 5?
Yo, man, I was like, just with all this debate back and forth, I changed my list like 5 times. And it's really between 2 MCs. It's really between the 2 MCs. But my list is very similar to JR. So I got Redman 1, Tretch number 2, and then I got Rod Digger at 3, Queen Latifah, and Lauryn Hill. So Lauryn Hill was the one. I was like, yo, man, you guys are making good points, but at the end of the day, like, I mess with Joe Budden. I know he got a great body of work, but even though Lauren, like, she doesn't have as much work, but like, I just feel like she's just doper, like, and that's just what it comes down to for me, I guess, in this case.
I mean, to me, man, you already know. For me, we all have our own criteria. So to me, there's never no right or wrong answer. I'm just always intrigued by people's criteria. It's kind of like, for me, you can't make my top 10 producer GOAT list if you haven't produced a whole album for somebody. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that keeps a couple of producers off of my GOAT list, because in my day, if you were just a dope producer, you had to produce an entire album for somebody. Because I don't want to say anybody, I guess anybody can make a dope song here and there. You know what I mean? And if I'm just coming in on one track here, and everything like that. But it's a whole nother monster for you to have to produce a whole album. But somebody else don't care nothing about it if you produce the whole album. Not like you can make the GOAT list. So totally get that. Gnu, let me ask you this. You and Rec.
What up?
Do y'all feel like, I know for Philly, we used to feel like we always, like, New York kind of like had their hand up to us, like, nah, y'all stay over there, y'all, we got this hip hop shit. You know what I mean? So it was this constant fight to be in the room. It was a constant fight to be in it. Being that Jersey is right next to New York, even though we right next to Jersey, like, did y'all ever feel that way? Did y'all ever feel like, New York? Huh?
Hell yeah! Like when I felt it when I came to Morgan. You know what I mean? I'm hanging around, a lot of cats from New York, and that's why, like, we had PRT, we had Naughty, but that's why, like, when Redman came out, I felt like he was that cat that was like, yes, like, finally we got somebody that's really carrying that flag for New Jersey. He was really repping Jersey. He was really naming weed spots and streets and you know what I mean?
Right.
One of those that guy that just made me say, yeah. So, but I did feel that, yeah. To answer that question, yeah, I felt that from,
and it's, like, so
like Jersey. We had to prove ourselves. You know what I mean?
Right. Because it's funny because the next question was then gonna be, so how did it feel when Red came out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was, you know what I mean? Because it's the same with Philly. For me, being at Morgan, when Philadelphia dropped, that's when New York niggas was like, yo, okay. Like, that was our Redman moment. You know what I mean? Right. So it's just funny to hear that from you, like the same thing. Breck, what about you coming up in Jersey? Did you kind of feel that?
Yeah. We weren't known for much at the time. And like Anu said, when Redman hit the scene, it was undeniable. You couldn't deny you know, that cats from Jersey could either spit or produce or do whatever. We weren't a novelty act at that time anymore. You had to take notice and be like, okay, you from Jersey, but I'm gonna see what they got. You know what I'm saying? It's like that from a DJ standpoint, being from South Jersey and having to go over to Philly to try to get work as a DJ. You know, Philly is the land of the DJs, and if you're coming from South Jersey, they looking at you funny, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot, man. It's a lot of bullshit and bureaucracy you got to push through coming across that bridge, man. This shit either got to be tight or you getting clowned. The minute they see them yellow tags, they like, oh, this nigga ain't shit. You know what I mean? They clown you, talk about you preppy or whatever the case, because you know how it is from Philly to Jersey. If you don't live in Camden or Trenton, you in the burbs. Can't nobody say you not. You in the burbs.
I never thought about the flip coming over to Philly. So South Jersey coming to Philly and then North Jersey going to New York.
It's different.
And it's bugged because, and I wanted to get into this, and we'll get, you know, Jersey, because people don't really, I don't know if some people understand how huge the state is, you know what I mean, and that South Jersey is totally different than North Jersey and things like that. And it's crazy because when I think about Philly similar to Jersey, like, it's crazy that it took Redman because y'all had so many dope MCs even before Redman. You know, and how I felt about Philly. Like, I felt like we had Steady B, we had 3 Times Dope, we had dope MCs, Will and Jeff before, you know, Will and Jeff became Will and Jeff. You know, before Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will and Jeff, like, we had enough firepower that I thought, you know, and it was worse for me because my cousins was from Fort Greene, Brooklyn. So, like you said, for you saw it at Morgan. I felt it my whole life. Like, it'd be like my cousins like, oh, Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff, that's what y'all got? Like, yeah, whatever, you know. So I was constantly getting jokes, you know, but like you said, that Redman piece for you, the thought piece, but I think the real piece for Philly for us was when Beanie came. Like, when Beans was coming and Beans was going at it with, like, you know, going right at it with Jadakiss, it was like, yo, like, like you said, like, even if you may not like Thought, but you couldn't deny Beans. Like, Beans is just undeniable. Like, and I think that's similar to Redman. All right, top 5 albums out of Jersey. The new, what you got?
Now this is just my list, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is just your fave. This is just everybody. These are just our faves.
Man, say it with your chest.
What's number 1? I'm gonna say Redman, Muddy Waters. You know what I mean? YZ, Son of the Father. I don't know if y'all remember YZ. You know what I mean?
The return of the
Return of the Holy. Holy Intellect, Poor Righteous Teachers.
Good.
Dirty Harriet, Rod Digger.
Rod Digger.
That's what
It was hard, man, but I have to say Fuji's the score, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dope. All right.
A lot of honorable mentions, but yeah, man, you know, it is what it is.
I feel you. I got my number 1, Redman, What the Album. This joint right.
Yeah. That's the one.
That's the one
that changed the game.
This is my number 1 out of Jersey. My number 2, and like the new set, these are just my personal favorites. We going with YZ, Sons of the Father.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know, if y'all don't know about this, do your homework. Very, very, very dope album. Very dope MC. We talking about In Control of Things. For people who may not know with YZ, he had the original sample when Gangstar and
Big Daddy Kane.
Right. I'm trying to get the what is
the YZ joint is I'm in control of things.
Right, In Control of Things, but I'm trying to think the Gangstar, Take It Personal. When Guru was like rap stars.
Oh yeah.
This is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He had the original sample for In Control of Things, and then Gangstar used it for No More Mr. Nice Guy. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna get a little bit more about this album later. But I always tell people, to me, that Guru line is some bullshit. I don't care how much I respect Guru. Nigga, you bit somebody else's beat, they came at your neck, and now you like rap is art, you can't own no loops. But I tell you this, if let somebody else use Come Clean after Primo used Come Clean, it would have been an issue. So that's why when people try to quote that rap is art, you can't own no loops, I'm like, nah, bro, the game don't work like that. So this is the original that sample right here. And Sean, we're gonna talk about him later. Tony D, a producer out of Jersey.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. My third joint, we going with All Hail the Queen Latifah right here. This album right here was crazy. Inside Out, Dance for Me first. I mean, it's Rap for My Madness. It's just, if you haven't heard this joint, you need to hear that. Number 4, I talked about this on the timeline the other day, Holy Intellect.
Yes, sir.
One of the dopest albums right here. This is Five Mcs to me. People only talk about Rock This Funky Joint. To me, this whole album was crazy from beginning to end. And then number 5, we're going to go with the Fugees, The Score. You know, just an incredible album to me. The end and everything like that. So we got that. JR, what you got for your top 5, good brother?
All right, so my number 1 is The Score. Number 2 is What the Album Redman. 3 is actually Naughty by Nature's debut. And then Dirty Harriet at number 4, and number 5, Black Rain, Queen Latifah.
People don't talk about that Black Rain.
Black Rain was tough.
That's
nice track. Was on that, right?
Yeah.
I was in there.
Yeah. My joint on there is Winky's theme. Man.
Winky's theme, but yes sir. Help us for the grace.
We don't talk about Black Rain. People be trying to act like Lie was a one-hit wonder.
Right.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Black Rain is dope. Oh, what was the joint with she Just Another Day in the Hood sample?
Yeah, man. That was fine. That was fine.
That Janice sample.
That was fine.
Easton, what you got for your top 5 albums out of Jersey?
1 and 2, both Redman. So number 1, Muddy Waters, top 10 album of all time for me. Number 2, What the Album. Number 3, The Score. Once again, just for the impact and just the entirety of that album. Number 4, I've also got Black Rain, Latifah. And I had to cheat on number 5 because I couldn't decipher, but I've got Naughty by Nature debut and Poverty's Paradise. Both those 2 back to back. I couldn't pick one out of those 2. And I've got Raw Digger down as an honourable mention, and Keepers of the Funk, honourable mention. Laws of the Underground.
Oh,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Lords.
Sir.
Lords. Yeah, do
yes,
it
sir.
all.
Yes, sir.
Do it all.
Eddie, what you got for your top 5, man?
All right. I had Muddy Waters, by Redman, of course. Then I had The Score by the Fugees, Queen Latifah, All Hail the Queen, Pure Poverty by Poor Righteous Teachers, and the self-titled Naughty by Nature joint.
Right. That Pure Poverty is a dope album too that nobody talks about, man.
Yeah.
The second version of that joint, Shaquilla, was crazy too, man. Which was crazy. And that went off of Pure Poverty. That was even crazier. It's crazy, man. Like maybe 11th grade, I found a stray kitten in my hood, and I snatched him up. I don't know how I hid her from my mom for like a month. I had the cat. The kitten was so small, it was living in my dresser. Like,
wow.
We had it like it was like a magical kitten because like I got this kitten when I was like 16, and like, yo, I swear to God, like this kitten just died like 8 years ago. Like this kitten was like 30 years
ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, and I named her Shaquilla. So, that was the ill part about that. But Neltron, what you got for your top 5 albums out of Jersey?
No particular order. I got The Score, Miseducation. That's not really a...
Yes, it is, because it's on mine.
Hey, you count it,
All right, Miseducation, Nature of a Sister, There's a Dark Side.
Dark Side.
And the debut Naughty by Nature.
That did, man. It's fun. We'll talk about that. I always rap with Canoe because I remember to the day when it came out and Canoe slipped through my crib at Morgan. And I was like, I ain't feeling it. Canoe was like, you smoke? I was like, nah. He was like, well, there you go. And it was like,
yeah.
It was like, you smoke?
Yeah, you gotta smoke.
There's your explanation of why.
Weed smokers out.
I remember that to this day, and I was like, I ain't never had nobody make an album make so much sense to me that quickly. Go back and forth. It was just like, touche. I got you. Vern, who you got for your top 5 albums?
All Hail the Queen, The Score, 1993. Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And I'm not the biggest album fan of this guy, but I'm battling. I'm gonna say what the album.
All right.
I mean, I acknowledge Reggie is dope, but I'm just not a big Redman fan. If that makes sense to y'all.
Nah, makes sense.
Like,
Music speaks to us all differently, man.
That's right.
All differently. Right, who you got for yours?
Oh man, first album out the gate, There's a Dark Side. We played that thing until the tape was blue, and if you knew the tape was red, like that album, 10th grade year, probably had the most impact on my life at that time. My homeboy grew his hair out and put tissue in his nose the whole year. I swear to you, I swear to God. And he was light skinned. He played that Reggie Mobile till he couldn't play it no more. Like, but it had that much impact on us. Like, we banged it that hard. Second one, All Hail the Queen. Love that album. Kill said it. Too many bangers off that joint. Dirty Harriet. YZ. But the Ghetto's Been Good to Me.
I earned my respect.
That was sophomore year of high school too.
Yeah, it's like 91ish.
No. I was in 8th grade. I was in 8th grade then, if that was the case. But that Acid Rain, I had never heard no drum programming like that.
You gonna talk about YZ, man?
And number 5, The Score. I think I blew a woofer on that joint. Begging Cowboys. Just, being young, having my first car, turning that joint. I think I blew a woofer to that. But those are my 5.
Rod Digger and Lauren spazzed on that.
That's right, man.
So here's the funny part that I'm just noticing, that we're naming like a lot of female MCs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think I ever kind of pieced it together that Jersey has so many dope female MCs too. And I'm trying not to separate. I'm trying to just look at everybody as MCs, but I'm just saying, like, we're saying La, we're saying Rod Digger, we're saying Lauren. You know what I mean? Like,
those are 3 of my top 5.
What'd you say?
3 of my top 5 female MCs of all time.
Right. You know, so it's just, and all 3 of them are like hard as hell. Like, they're not like subpar or anything like that. It's like Latifah could have. I mean, I always had light over Latifah, but if somebody said Latifah was their favorite MC back in 89 or 90, I'm not mad at that. You know, Lauren, I know got people like Lauren better than some male MCs. You know what I'm saying? And the same with Rod Digger. You know what I mean? Like, Rod Digger, and I love Young Z, but it's almost the joke I say about Papoose and Remy Ma. Like, yo, nigga, you ain't even the nicest nigga every night. Like, you know, like, so Rod Digger to me, if I had to say Rod Digger or Young Z in a battle, nigga, Rod Digger. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just
none of them and Kill. None of those females we talking about shook their ass or had to show. You know, they were all. Everybody was dressed up. Everybody was covered.
It was just all skill. It was just all. I mean, like I was explaining to Naomi, like the most, I guess, sexiest female MCs was Salt and Pepper. That was really only in the Pusha. Like, and that was just whole latex and some tight biker shorts on and shake your thing. Like, that was it. Like, other than that, it was all spitting. Like, if somebody came out half naked, we probably would have been like, word? Like, why? Like,
357 though.
What happened?
I said, Oaktown 357.
Index though, like that was it. Like you wasn't seeing no nipple, you wasn't like that. Like that was the worst. You was like,
I was 10. I ain't have to see no nipples. I was good with the spandex. I'll be the TV like this, like
Goofy had them crazy.
Oh man,
I feel, but it just took me like, because you know, whether we're naming the Fugees, whether we're naming Miseducation, you know, some people are naming All Hail the Queen, other people are, you know, naming Black Rain, you know, Dirty Harriet. I got a Slept On Rod Digger album. So, you know, it's not, I'm just for the people who's watching, you know, that this just isn't like, you know, just a one-off like these people, because I get it with Latifah. I think she falls in the same LL category. If you're not of a certain age group, you look at Latifah as an actor first, and a rapper second. You know, the same way people, after we did the Heavy D app, and people was like, yo, I love the show because at my age, I looked at Heavy D as a actor and kind of like the rapper was secondary, you know? So I think that's what happens with Latifah, because like Greg said, she's so worldly now, you know, but now I'm talking about Dana Owens, on Dance For Me with Mark the 45 King, and
the pros,
Tommy Boy,
with Daddy-O.
Yeah, man.
Second hit drop, so we got that. Good news. I'm sorry, bro. What's up?
Question, man. What the hell was y'all doing in Jersey? Because all three of them MCs is hard. You know what I'm saying? They hard.
And you know what? This is a better question because I don't know because Jersey is so big. Rack, good news. Do you know where's Lauren from? She's East Orange, right?
Yo, that's Springfield Avenue. Once you hit Newark, coming from the city, you take Springfield all the way up the hill,
way down. Yeah,
you gonna know when you're not in Newark no more. When you hit,
yes.
Drive past the bus station, you in Orange. Keep going out, you in East Orange.
Rack is MapQuest right now. He's like, what address?
Hey, look, let me tell you something about Jersey. Let me give you a quick caveat about Jersey. It's not like Philly the way you can hop on the L or you can hop in a cab or whatever. If you don't have a car or you don't know your way around the bus, you fucked. If you're not in Camden and you can catch the bus, Camden is 5 square miles. Trenton, roughly the same. Most people stay on their side of Trenton because of shit. But everywhere else, you got to have a car. And that's how I knew my way around Jersey, from hooping and just knowing cats. If you didn't go to these certain places, you had no business being there.
I totally understand that.
So you learn your way around Jersey real quick if you got a car.
All right, where's Latifah from?
She's from Newark.
And where's Digger from?
Newark.
Wow.
It's that North Jersey thing right there.
Yeah.
All right. Then it's funny. Then, like I said, we're gonna get to it because when I think of South Jersey, I think of North Jersey's MCs. I think the North Jersey MCs are more, I guess, kind of like I look at the difference between Big and Jay. Both are incredible lyrical MCs, but I feel like if you say, "Yo, make a song about a nigga trying to come get you," Biggie's gonna make Warning, which is much more hostile, and Jay is gonna make Friend or Foe, which is hostile, but it's in a more wittier way. Like Jay ain't talking about saying what's to your door and what you think all the guns for. It's like he's saying it, but he's not saying it like Big is saying it. And I feel like the South Jersey MCs are more, I guess, smoother with their stuff, like YZ, the Poor Righteous Teachers, where for me, the Northern Jersey MCs are more kind of Biggie-ish, more rough and wild, but they're both still dope, but they kind of have different styles. What do you think, Anu?
I was just going to say, now, Trenton, where we're located, we're Central Jersey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right in the middle, so I think that we're like in a sweet spot because we're like an hour drive from the city. We're like 40 minute drive from Newark, a half-hour drive to Philly, 40 minutes from Camden. So we're like in a nice little area where we can get to either, you know what I mean?
Right.
We can get to all those areas, man. But what was your question though?
No, just the differences between when you look at Wise Intelligent and a YZ versus a Redman and a Tretch. Right. Like all four are dope, but they just have different styles almost. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. It may just be me. I may be, the only person that kind of sees it like that.
Well, I mean, I think it's really based on like your background, you know what I'm saying? Redman and who was the other guy you named? Tretch, they from Newark. No, I mean, not to say that Trenton is something soft, but you got Wise Intelligent. He's from the projects, you know what I mean? So he's really a poor righteous teacher. YZ is not from like this, say like the hood part of Trenton. He's more like from the outskirts. So you're going to get like a different kind of a style from him. You know what I mean? Right. So I think the music that these guys make is all based on the environment that they came up in.
You know what? That's an ill point, JR. I don't know if you remember when we was in DC with Iron, but Iron says something about, he felt like Pete Rock's beats are so much more beautiful because he's in Mount Vernon. You got houses.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Projects, like your environment is telling you kind of to make something else. Not that it's telling you something whack, but like the news is saying, like your environment is gonna help feed the way that you create, whether it's musically, whether it's lyrically, whether it's production wise or something like that. And until Iran said that, I was like, I never thought about that before. Like, you know, like would Pete Rock have made those same type of beats if he lived in Queensbridge? You know what I mean? Or something like that. So
that's a really good point. It is.
Yeah, and I never thought about that. So Gnu, good looking for that, because like I said, until Iron said that, I never even thought about how your environment plays into your style, your rhyme, like all those things, like that. All right, Gnu. So where in Jersey, we're in your neck of the woods. I'm chilling with you. We all Apartment 5B comes to Jersey to chill with you for the weekend. Where are we going in? Where's the first place you taking us to?
Well, depending on the weather, man, you know, like if it's like a nice sunny day, you know what I'm saying, we could slide through Cadwater Park, you know what I'm saying? Slide through Cadwater Park, you know
yes, sir.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, just blow your tree, you know what I mean? It's gonna be cars riding by, you know, it'd be chicks out there, it'd be dudes riding by with the motorcycles in the you know what I mean, popping wheelies and all that type of shit, giving it up. And then as far as like, you know, trying to get you to eat on, man. You know, we got spots like Cheeseboro, get your wings. But we got a pizza spot out here called Special Pizza City. That's like the main spot I take anybody that come out here to visit me, man. We go to Special Pizza City, man, because they got the banging pizza, they got the banging wings, they got the banging tomato pies, you know, cheese steaks and all that type of shit, man. As far as getting like a haircut or something, I really fuck with the Dominicans, you know what I'm saying? But we got, you know, a black barbershop out here called Razor Sharp. It's a couple different
it's a couple
different locations.
They everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would take you to Razor Sharp and, you know what I mean, had one of them dudes in there tighten you up, you know what I'm saying? Lately, really, I've been on some cut my own hair shit since the pandemic. Got my own clippers, you know what I mean? And also because everything is slowed down, it's not really a lot to do right now. But, you know what I'm saying? But if everything was open, you know what I mean? That's pretty much, that would be your day. You know what I'm saying? Now, in the middle of all that, you might see a fight. You know what I'm saying? It might be a couple shots. You know what I'm saying? You might real quick. You know what I'm saying? But you'll be all right. You know what I mean? You know, other than that, man, you know.
All right. No doubt. Rec, what about you? We in Willingboro. You just schooled me that Wanye ain't even from Philly. This nigga been lying for the past 44 years of boys.
Ask him where he graduated high school.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I thought the boy graduated from
performing arts.
Yeah, performing arts school.
No, he didn't.
Nah, man. He's from Hawthorne Park, man. So Willingboro is broken up into 10 parks, man. So it's a suburb. It's the first suburb ever in America. If you Google Levittown, that's Willingboro. I'm not gonna go all the way into it. It's a whole thing of systematic racism that deals with it. But Willingboro has turned into an all-black suburb, ironically, because of that. So if you're in Willingboro, man, the first place we going is Gitano's. Not Gitano's up top in Twin Hills. We going to Gitano's in Pennypacker. That's what all the shit is. It's a car wash over there. Music Factory used to be over there. You see all kind of wild shit just to go get a fucking cheesesteak. After that, honestly, man, Willingboro wasn't the spot where you chill. We went to everybody else's spot to chill. We go to Trenton, we go to the shore, go out to like Asbury Park, Seaside Heights. Like Jersey is a town. Like if you got a whip, you're not gonna be in your town unless you're doing something. Unless you're doing something.
Right.
Yo,
you guys ever went to Wildwood? That's another place I remember driving to. Yeah, Wildwood, New Jersey.
That's an hour and a half, bro. Like that's nothing.
I was there to prom. Oh yeah.
So for me, it's a little different. We getting in the truck and we rolling somewhere. Like I'm gonna take you wherever you want to go. To get a cut, we probably gonna go to Majestics. That's off of JFK, right across the street from the old high school. Go get a cut, go chill for a little bit, and then we're gonna go somewhere else, man. We might go to Philly. We might go to, like you said, Seaside Heights, Wildwood. Shit, if it's a nice day, we going to Atlantic City. That's the spot. Right down the expressway. We're going to Atlantic City. Yeah, it's central location to everything. Yeah. If you want to go to New York, shit, hour and a half, we be in Brooklyn. Right. So it's the beautiful part about it. But for me, Willingboro, man, Gitano's, Majestics to get a cut. We might hit a spot to go hoop. Knowing me, we're gonna hit up one of the ball courts to go hoop in the area.
Now here's the thing. Let me say this. At the time of my career, I only played one side of the ball. So I'm gonna just play defense. Now here's the sad part, right? People made fun of me. See, people are laughing at me for just want to play one side of the ball. Just keep in mind, there's a fucking all-star who was supposed to be in Atlanta who only plays one side of the ball. Now that's cool. Now that shit is cool.
Oh God,
I got you.
And that's it.
If that's the case,
when I said all I'm gonna do is play defense, niggas ain't want me to play because I was like, I can't shoot. And it was like the nigga go home. Now in 2021, they go play defense, and you too could be an all-star, boys and girls, like Vincent. So just wanted to show how times have changed. Because I was told, nigga, if you ain't gonna shoot the rock,
if that's the case, then I'm not gonna take you to Cal Water Park when the pro-am is not playing to go hoop.
Yeah, here's the problem. Right? My only thing with hooping, I was the best dressed nigga on the court. That was my claim to fame. I was load out, but do not pick me because I'm only playing defense.
So, Kill, if someone stepped on your kicks, that defense is out the window, huh?
Probably.
I ain't gonna lie, Kill.
People have different goals for doing things. So see, when Rec went to hoop, he probably went to hoop in order. His goal was to dominate the court. My goal was to find a shorty. So I'm not trying to dominate nobody. I'm not trying to make nobody wrong. We have two totally different goals in mind right now. Which was cool. I ain't get picked. I would just wait and just kick it with the shorty. So I was good.
Yeah,
but
so since Kill want to kick it with the shorties, we definitely gonna go hoop at Cal Water Park.
Okay.
Definitely. We're gonna go hoop at Cal Water Park. Cal Water Park is a multi-purpose park. I'll put it to you like that.
I like the sound.
Yeah, multi-purpose park.
Let's say this: the old Kill like the sound of that. The married Kill don't like the sound of.
Agreed. Look, man, my knees can't do it no more. So this is all hypothetical.
Like more multi-purpose things at 16. All right, let's talk about this. We talked about our dopest albums. What's a slept on? What's one slept on album that y'all got out of Jersey? That maybe it didn't make your top 5 list, but that you love it. Maybe nobody talks about it. Nobody's ever heard about it. Gnu, what do you have as a slept on album out of Jersey?
Got one.
I wrote. You know what? I would say Dirty Harriet.
That's what I was gonna say.
You know what I mean? I would say Dirty Harriet was definitely a slept on album to me. You know
All right, no doubt. And it's so ironic you say that because I got Rod Digger, but I got her album Classic.
Yeah.
Knots. This is all produced by Knots.
That was tight too. That was tight. It didn't do what Dirty Harriet did, but
right. But this album, I mean, Rod Digger with Knots. If you know both of them, this is a match.
Knots is a.
I'm still tripping how that's a slept on joint.
I know hip hop heads who have not heard this, like diehard East Coast hip hop heads who have no idea this came out. Yo, my joint on. I mean, I love the whole thing, but the single was "This Ain't No Little Kid." Like that was the joint. She got a joint on here called "Who's Gonna Check Me, Boo." I used to listen. I used to listen to this when Naomi was probably 3 or 4, and we would go into her daycare singing "Who's Gonna Check Me." That's how we walk into daycare. So definitely, if you haven't heard this joint, please check this out. JR, you said whatchamacallit was yours too. Dirty Harriet was your stuff.
Yeah, what's that album called?
Called Classic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Rod Digger Classic. Okay. All right, so JR had Dirty Harry too.
Yeah.
What you got?
What'd you say? Hear you, Kill. It was a break.
Sorry. What do you have?
Wow, this is a safe space, yeah? You're not going to be shocked by this one. 1994, Shaquille O'Neal.
Hey, bro. Not mad at you, fam.
What's up, Doc?
Listen, check it. On that album, you had Eric Sermon producing, Warren G, Redman. It featured Eric Sermon, Redman, Keith Murray, Warren G,
outstanding,
RZA, Method Man. All of them people on the same album. Listen, that album was hard. I had it in heavy rotation.
That was a good one, yo.
I'm not gonna hold you. I wanted to
mad at you,
but I couldn't let it.
No hooks.
I never heard the album. I never because it was Shaq.
Yeah, no hook. Check it.
Hey, man.
Right.
Check it.
Dope.
Got some joints on
there.
there.
Hey, Stop the Rain with Big. I love that. I just never.
No, this is before that, bro. bro.
Yeah, this is 94. This is the one before that. It was maybe Shaq's verses weren't tremendous, but the features, they always killed it. The production was hard.
This is the one. Was this the one with Fushnickens? I didn't even know his was bad. I didn't even know Shaq had multiple albums. I thought he only had one.
Shaq's got about 5. I think that was Shaq.
Yeah,
Shaq
and 4 of them went platinum.
But this one, Shaq through the return.
Shaq can buy a record sale, so I mean he could afford to pay.
Yeah,
I gotta
platinum.
check that. Okay,
it's not bad. The beats are fire. The beats are fire, and the features are dope.
That's a good one, Easton. Eddie, what you got for your slept on album?
I'm probably going with Rage in the Machine by Joe Budden.
Okay.
Yo, like that album, like probably my favorite Joe Budden album, and you know, I like Budden. I think he's spit. I'm not a huge fan of most of his catalog, but that's the one I probably, if I want to hear Joe, that's probably the one I go back to.
All right.
No, that's a good call, Eddie. And the thing I loved about this too is that A-Rab Music did the whole album. And I've never been an A-Rab Music fan. Like, for people who don't know, A-Rab is like the one who really started the whole finger drumming. I mean, he can just play whole beats just on all the pads. And I always thought, I compared him to an N1 basketball player. It's like, that's on the court, but nigga, make a dope beat. Like dope beat. You know, I got a video of Alchemist crying in the studio because of how crazy. No, I'm dead ass. There's a video. If you look on YouTube, Alchemist is like a tear is coming out of his eye on how crazy A-Rab is like playing these beats 100% live with just his finger. I mean, the shit is amazing. It's not gonna bring me to tears, but I mean, you know what I mean? But my whole thing was, you can do all them tricks and all that stuff, but can you make it in the league? And to me, this album like proved that A-Rab like had some. He got some points.
And what's the name of that again?
Rage in the Machine.
Rage in the Machine.
Rage in the Machine.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, it's probably his most complete project. To me, I mean, outside of the mixtapes.
Yeah.
You know, but as far as like his actual albums, that's the one.
Yeah, this is a very dope album, man. Dope pick on that. Neltron, what do you have for your slept on album out of Jersey?
I didn't have one, man. I only knew the people that we spoke about already. That's the albums that I knew. One album that shouldn't even came out was the Lauryn Hill Unplugged album. That shouldn't even. I don't even know why that came. I don't even know why she put it out.
That's one of the albums that divides family. Because, like, I know people who love that album.
Y'all need to
know. You like that album?
I hated the album. I thought that was probably one of my most disappointing albums of all time. Like,
you can't even compare that to anything because it's more of a live type of album. So I'm like, I'm not even comparing it.
But she sounded horrible. So even if this was our first introduction, it's kind of like a bad first date. It's like, you know, back in the day when you called a girl for the first time, like it just don't sound right. Like to me, it just didn't sound right.
It was just real. It was like she was depressed, and I'll have to revisit it. I'll go revisit it just to give it a listen. But if she was in another world,
that album was Kanye West "All Fall Down."
Yeah.
How you say, Kill? I'm thick. I look like Janet Jackson. Bitch, you look like Freddie Jackson.
Yo, I remember how excited me and T were for that. Like we was around the TV, like I don't know. We were like, what the fuck just happened? Like what? Like yo, we need to prayer team out for Lauren because something ain't right. Like the Molly boys ain't doing her right. But now trying didn't have one. I totally forgot before I went to Rod Digger. Here's a slept on album. And the slept on MC out of Jersey, The Crown Rules.
Oh man, kick the ball.
Kick the ball. A lot of people from South Jersey or Philly. I know people who have never heard this song, Kick the Ball. The Roots actually did a remix of Silent Treatment using a beat called For Black Thoughts, You and Yours. Mm-hmm. That's where they got this from, but it's Kick the Ball. This was the original Grand Poobah. Before there was Grand Poobah Maxwell, there's Grand Poobah out the Crown Rulers. That was so when I first heard Grand Poobah, I was like, oh shit, but no, it was Grand Poobah Maxwell. I think maybe that's why he even put Maxwell on the end because of this Grand Poobah. Slept on the album. Check it out, y'all.
You play that joint around the right old head, you're gonna start the fight.
Oh yeah, especially you play in Philly. Like this was like a Philly anthem. Like this is right there with like the Tough Crew and everything else. What you gonna say?
What artist was that? You just
that's Crown Rulers.
The name of the group is the Crown Rulers. The name of the album is called Paper Chase.
And Kick the Ball was the single. Kick the Ball. Kick the ball.
And the crazy thing was, this is the
I remember that. I do remember that.
Come on now, you know.
I remember that. As soon as you sing it, that's what I remember.
Just comparing them to the Tough Crew, and I'm looking at the credits, and it's produced by Dave from the Tough Crew.
So that's why it sounds similar.
Right.
Okay.
So I didn't even peep that before. But
Tough Crew was them dudes too, man.
Yeah, Tough. But you know the thing about Tough Crew was showed me how regional hip hop is, because my part of town was a Philly anthem. And I never forget, 92, my freshman year at Morgan, I played that shit for New York people, and they was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "What's this?" Like, we play this every day, like 8 times a day for the past 2 years. And they was like, "Never mind." And I was
it stayed definitely in our area.
Right. But it just that was the beginning stages of what I see now in Apartment 5B, where you think which you and your crew was listening to, that the whole world was listening to.
Everybody was listening to.
You know what I mean? Like, me and Gnu thinking like when Illmatic came out, we was like, yo, everybody on the planet, the universe is playing this. And then I meet Nick from Atlanta. He's like, nigga, we wasn't playing that shit down there. It's like so it just Tough Crew kind of showed me how something can be the biggest hit in your city, and it may only be the biggest hit in your city. Vern, what is your slept on album out of Jersey?
You mentioned it, and I bumped this sucker 11th, 12th grade. YZ, Sons of the Father. I love that album, bro. Yeah. Actually, my homies did some stuff with him, man. So yeah, I met him. Cool dude. Yeah, definitely.
Cool dude.
This joint. I mean, you had In Control of Things. I'm working.
Master Plan.
Tower with the Power.
Power with the Power.
This was just so for everybody out there, Sons of the Father, YZ. It's crazy. D Nice did a piece with him a couple of years ago. He went deaf.
Yeah.
I
had him on the podcast, man.
Oh shit! Right. Good news. I apologize. Before we go any further, tell them about the iCast podcast.
Oh shit, man! The iCast podcast is popping, man. You know what I mean? Every week, go live. You know what I mean? We have guests on there. You know what I mean? But it all started from this right here, though. Apartment 5B, though. So shout out to y'all cats.
Appreciate the love. Vern was just on the iCast podcast, so we definitely had to show that love back. And again, I'm new to this whole new sponsorship thing. Apartment 5B is sponsored by What's the Scenario Game. So what games.com. Cop it. We're all no, I guess not. We're not really still in. Well, no, we still are.
Yeah, we are in it. Yes, we are.
Everybody else go out and get. Everybody else buying games and everything. Hip hop game, all the stuff we do on Twitter, all the arguing, all the debates, everything. Again, sowhatgames.com. Use the promo code Apartment5B. You'll get free shipping. We'll actually be playing this game on the next episode of Apartment 5B with the brother is the owner of the game. So you guys can kind of see how you can get down and have fun even if you're not in the same spot. So we definitely got that. Rec 1, what is your slept on album out of Jersey?
So I got two. I'm gonna give one for Neltron. First one, Courageous Chief, Warpath EP, 1990. Gnu, do you remember Russian Roulette?
No.
PRB used to play it all the time.
I've never heard.
I would have to hear it
again.
So Courageous Chief is cousins with Inspector Deck.
His name, the rap name is Courageous Chief.
That was his old rap name. I think his new rap name now is Papa Wu. But he's
I'm gonna double check.
No, I'm a double check.
This is not going good, right? We're not.
That was singing right before we reunited.
Nah, man, no. Let me double check. I get back to you on that. We're gonna stick with Courageous Chief, right? All right. But his name back then was Courageous Chief. He did an album with DJ Cam and Reggie Reg, two cats from Willingboro, and the album was dope. It got some play on the radio and Warpath. It's called the Warpath EP. The lead single was called Russian Roulette, and it's the first time I heard gunshots as a kick and a snare.
Okay.
And then the revolver was like the hi-hat. And he was basically running around how Russian roulette, and he made it into a whole rap. It's dope. It's a dope song. Dope song. So that's for you, Neltron. I got you.
Appreciate that, right?
My slept on joint, Crusaders for real hip hop. Deja Vu, 82. Bro.
Okay.
What? Now you gotta give me that again. Who Crusaders?
Yeah. Crusaders for real hip hop. Crusaders for real hip hop. Don Knotts, come on, man. You want to talk about one of the most animated cats on album?
Yeah.
Tony D, not Tony D, but Don Knotts was crazy with it.
You know what's hard with me, Rec, because names and album covers can make me not listen to you.
So don't look at don't look at the album cover. Don't look at the album cover. Hold up, I got you. The Crusaders for real hip hop.
You sound like the names that you had when you first started your rap group, like how Nordic was called the New Style, and then you got a new name, or like how Tribe was called like the Queens Boys, and then I feel like they got stuck in their first name. Like my first name was Kill Rocksky. Like this still like a 5B hosted by Kill Rocksky.
Yeah. When I hear Don Knotts, I think about Three's Company.
Yeah, Don Knotts. I'm like Don Knotts.
Right.
But that might have been a play on it.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
That might have been a play on it.
It had a V at the end at the end of it.
Matter of fact, I'll show you the album cover, so that way you can see it. Don't look at it. Here you go. They're in front of an ambulance.
Yeah.
Oh,
now,
wow.
boom. That's Tony D. That's my man YZ right there, man. The reggae cat, the singing cat. That's my man.
Yeah. They was a dope crew out of Trenton.
All right, I'm gonna take you because y'all know I almost ain't listened to Stove God album because of the cover. So
listen to the album.
Okay, I will. Okay, so we got.
He had Check the Elevation was on there.
Yeah.
And what's the name of the album?
It's Deja. It's Deja Vu. It's 82. That's the name of the album.
All right.
Dope album. It got a little bit of traction, but unfortunately, it did not leave the state of Jersey. But it was a Jersey staple, man. Like those cats actually could do something, but just on a small label, being on Tony D's label, they just didn't have the traction to push it outside of that. But they had promo, they had videos, they was getting radio play. Like it wasn't like they weren't getting that stuff. It just Tony D's label was small, so they just couldn't get no backing behind it.
Tony produced this?
That's Tony D all day.
That's all I gotta say. See, we gotta just learn. We gotta lead with certain things, like if you was Tony D,
my bad.
They could have been called the Hopscotch Boys if you told me.
This is incredible, man.
Tony D. We could
this is Tony D all day. Dope crew, man. Dope crew.
All right. Tell me this, y'all. Give me 2 slept on MCs out of Jersey. 2 slept on MCs. Good news. Who you got?
That's funny you say. I would say Lakim Shabazz.
He's on my list.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
On my list.
Good pick.
He's on my list.
Another cat that slept on. Man, Chill Rob G.
Yeah.
Right. You see what I'm just pulling. You see what I just
Damn.
Just pulled, man.
Yeah.
Who said who?
Me.
Bro.
Oh man, Chill Rob G.
Chill Rob G was that dude from.
What year did that come out? What year did that album come out?
Yeah, you know one song by Chill Rob G.
I'm about to say,
I got the power.
I'm about to say,
I got the power.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He did the original. He did the original version of the Power before.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Now, Tron, you getting old when you gotta hold things away from your eyes. This came out. This came out in 1992. You see,
92.
No more. This thing all the way at the bottom of 1992. My favorite joint from Chill Rob G is Court is in Session. Oh my God, that joint right there. But yo, the new dope calls on both. And I'm glad you said them because I had them down here, but I'm like, I can name somebody else because
I'm from Jersey, man. We know.
Lakim Shabazz, Chill Rob G.
Love Lakim Shabazz, man.
I'm gonna go with Tame one from the Artifacts.
Yeah, he on my list too.
Yeah, he's on my list.
Nasty. Oh my God. You know, I mean, not just on the wrong side of the tracks, but I think my favorite Artifact song may be the Artifacts, which was
same.
off their second album. Oh my God, I can listen to that.
97.
They don't get mentioned, man. They don't get mentioned, bro.
Nah, they don't. But you know what? It was that first album. I don't think a lot of people even listen to the first album.
Yeah, you know, that's another. They're on my list for slept on albums too.
Yeah, that was my.
I think during that time in hip hop, it was so much dope shit.
Yeah,
they got slipped through the cracks.
Like you just didn't have enough, and I know a lot of people never. They heard "Come On" with the "Come On" and "Get Down" to "Get Down," and they heard "You know, the wrong side of the tracks, and then that was it. They didn't even dive into the album. The second album, I thought the second album was dope, but then
it was.
You know, but if you talk about now, they're like, nah, nobody was really feeling it like that. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, so
you hit the nail on the head, Kill. It was just too much.
Yeah, it was so much hip hop that came out.
It's like 94, isn't it? It's a strong year.
Same one was nasty, and
then the second one came out in 97.
97,
yeah. And I'm gonna go with my man Pace One from the Outsiders. Pace One was dope to me. He had this joint out called "I Declare War," produced by Steve. That was crazy. He had an album produced by this producer named Mr. Green. That was crazy. Pace One to me just had the ill voice. He had the ill flow. He had the ill style. Again, he was down with the Outsiders, so definitely check them out.
Was Pace One on the score?
Yeah.
He was?
Cowboys.
I know y'all talking about.
Pace One was but definitely a dope MC. JR, who you got for yours? Slept
none.
Okay, well, cool. Well, I'll take another one from you, and I'll go with Young Z out the Outsiders. I know Gnu is one of his dopest MCs, but Young Z to me was dope. Gnu, I don't know if you remember Roots from Morgan, who was at the radio before me. Roots was working with. Long story short is Young Z had a whole album out. He was gonna be on Perspective Records, where it was Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis's label. And something ended up happening. It ended up getting shelved. But he had this joint called Problems that we used to play at 88.
You don't want no problems.
You don't want no problems. Yeah, they say Brooklyn. You don't want no problems, G. Get your name in the obituary column sheet, which was dope. Again, we did a show on Apartment 5B about shelved albums, but I'm telling y'all, so many albums, if albums didn't get shelved and the industry wasn't marketing everything, there'd be so many more MCs we would be talking about. Great MC being greater, because then what happened is so much of hip hop is made in a time span. So like you listen to Large Professor's, LP album that was supposed to drop in 96, that drops in 96. Large Professor's name, in my opinion, is mentioned so much more. But by the time it got shelved and by the time you hear it in 2003, it sounds old, it sounds dated, so but yeah, I definitely think more people would be talking about Young Z if that. I think Musical Meltdown, if that would have came out when it was supposed to come out. The production was dope. I think Ski did something. Clark Kent was on it. So yeah, Young Z would be another slept on one. Easton, who you got for your slept on MC out of Jersey?
Honorable mentions first. I put Heather B down and Latifah both as honorable mentions.
Oh man, Heather B.
Damn. I remember seeing her in the Walmart all the time.
That's a great call. For some reason, I always thought Heather was. There are certain MCs who I just don't know.
Yeah. Because of her association.
Like it, though. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. For the album as well.
Heather's from Newark. My wife used to see her all the time when she was at work during college, man. Heather B is dope.
Yeah. And obviously I put Latifah as well, as you mentioned at the beginning. Everyone knows Latifah as the actor and so on and so forth. But just straight as we were speaking about earlier, as an MC, she's hard, man. And as you mentioned, she came out. She didn't need to do none of that. You know what I mean? Whereas Mataz, she just came out spitting and she was hard. She was conscious as well. She brought, political awareness, everything. I think she needs to be mentioned more, even amongst the younger generation as well. But for my main person that I've got as a slept on artist, we've all mentioned him, is Joe Budden. Same with you, Kel. You know what I mean? A lot of people, when you mention Joe, they think about the podcast or they think about the dumb things he does. I've got a good ability to just separate all the nonsense and just look at the music. And I think as an MC, let me be careful how I word this. I think what Drake wants to be is what Joe Budden is. When I say that, I mean because Joe Budden's got a brilliant way of putting emotion on track without it being cheesy or corny or what have you.
Right.
Not a lot of people can do that. If you look at his whole the Love series, the Love Lost and all of those, they're brilliant, man. They're tremendous. Then if he just wants to just straight spit, he's got it. I mean, he's in something like, you know what I mean, Slaughterhouse with top tier MCs, and he holds his own on every single track. There's times when he has the strongest verse on the track. I don't think he's looked at or appreciated as an MC enough, man. So yeah, Joe Budden will be my slept on MC.
Easton, I love what you said too, man, that Drake wants to be what Joe is. Because to me, Joe never comes off as corny when he's telling about what's going on in his life. And for me, again, I always tell people, I heard this from shout out to Do It All from Lords of the Underground, another Jersey rap. You know, when he said years ago, like, there's no adult contemporary hip hop. You know what I mean? And it's like, to me, that's what Joe is. Like, you know, at 47, I want to hear about I don't want to hear about the packs you moved all the time. Like, there's a time and place. I feel like there's a time and place for everything. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think Joe is one of the people who is able, like you said, that Love Lost series, which is on, which I will put in the Mind of Joe Budden's mixtape that I did. I just think if you've ever been in a relationship, there's no way you can listen to these songs that Joe has about being in a relationship and not just shake your head and just be like, yes. Like, it's one of them things where it's just like, he says something like, I signed up for a girl, not a chaperone. And I'm like, man, like there's no time that you just can't be like, yo, exactly. Like,
there's a bar as well. When he said the love.
I'm sorry.
No. I was saying there's a bar when he said the love's dead and I'm walking you through the murder scene. That bar alone, it just gives you a complete picture into what he's showing you. He's saying that something's dead, and I'm just bringing you now, showing you the whole picture. I think he's skillful for what he does, man. Not a lot of people could do it that skillfully. Bruh, he's hard, man.
Joe Budden is a top 3 hip hop storyteller.
Easily.
Say that.
And I know people are bugging. I always tell people, listen to this song. He's got this song called 3 Sides to a Story.
So listen to it.
8 minutes long. But it's like the usual suspects. This ain't no regular hip hop storytelling like the boom, boom, boom. You have to be like, that's who he was? Oh, and you got to, let me rewind it back and listen. And da-da-da. Joe, he's got a song called Who Killed Hip Hop. It's 15 minutes long. But he breaks down the entire breakdown of hip hop from starting to now. An incredible MC. So yes, very slept on. Please check him out. Eddie, who you got to slept on?
All right, so Kill, since you mentioned Tame One, I'm gonna mention Elder Sensei. I feel like the Artifacts as a group is just very slept on. Their first 2 albums are incredible to me, like they're really dope. Shout out to Nick, because Nick is always talking about them on the timeline. You know what I mean? If no one gives them their flowers, Nick definitely does.
Yeah.
And speaking of giving flowers, here's someone that you always give flowers to is Wise Intelligent. I feel like Wise Intelligent and Poor Righteous Teachers, I feel like they're not appreciated these days. I feel like when people go back and look at MCs of that era, they don't get enough credit, and they definitely should for his skill as an MC as well as the content, the knowledge that they were bringing forward. So definitely slept on.
Yeah.
And again, with Wise, I just felt like he had his own style. Like I feel like even when we do shows, like he's got the dope style. Nobody says Wise. He had the dope voice. When we talk about who has the dopest voice, like I just feel like he doesn't get mentioned at all. And I think it was that show on VH1, The Breaks, when that was on. And like Rock This Funky Joint was like heavy on that show, and the timeline Twitter was blowing up with it. And I'm like, yo, it doesn't stop with that song. But so many people only knew that song. You know what I mean? So, and I always say too, like, Gnu, when we was at Morgan and coming up, it was popular to love hip hop. So you had a lot of people who listened to hip hop but weren't hip hop heads. Right. So the heads were gonna be the ones who wanted to listen to the whole album. The ones who were just listening to hip hop was just happy with whatever played on the radio. And if I'm not mistaken, they only had Rock This Funky Joint. I think that was maybe the only single they had off that album. So to me, that kind of shows me why people only know Rock This Funky Joint was because you never listened to the album. You just, if they didn't play it on the radio, it didn't get to your ear. So I think that's the problem too. Because I'm like, if you like Rock This Funky Joint, then you would love the whole album. But neither here nor there. Deltron, who you got for your slept on MC?
I'm just here to learn.
All right.
I didn't have any, man, on the slept on because I still got to do my homework for Jersey MCs and producers. So I'm just here to learn, man.
Bro, what about you?
I'm kind of like Neltron, but I'll throw out a name, John Forte.
Okay.
He's from Jersey?
On the low, he's from Jersey, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
he was nice.
But he was hanging with those cats, Talib Kweli and all those guys.
He was nice.
Now, what did he get knocked for coke or weed?
Coke.
Nah,
The bull had two white Johns run the coke to the airport. Dog.
Yeah, white girls went over.
And they snitched. Ooh, they snitched.
Yeah,
he's out.
He's out.
He's out. Yeah, he's been out for a few years.
So he had the white girl and the white girls.
Double entendre.
All right, Ed.
He has an interview on Talib's podcast.
Yeah,
talking about it in depth. Actually, it's a dope interview.
Yeah, I saw that. Word.
Yeah, that was dope.
Did he ever drop an album?
He did, but that album was hot garbage.
I haven't even heard it.
I think that moment that passed.
Hey, listen,
man.
I bought the single, man. The single sampled the message. And the single was dope. The single was dope. But
he
the
said
album,
Millie Bell that Puff and
the other damn it, I don't remember the name of the song.
All right.
But
the single was dope, but the album was garbage.
Album was.
So he's another MC that kills his features then, but don't give us good whole projects because every feature he was on, he killed his feature.
He murdered every feature. But that album was trash.
Messed him up too. You know what I mean? Like, because didn't he get knocked like where not at the top of his career, but like
he got knocked when the album dropped. He dropped the single and got knocked.
All right.
Wasn't Forte on the Carnival? The Wyclef album.
The Carnival and the score. We used to jump rope, but now we gun tote.
But I thought he was from Brownsville though.
Nah, he's from Jersey, man.
He's from
Jersey.
Now he used to hang out with Talib and them, like Rex said. You know,
yeah, he's from Jersey.
I think he helped. I mean, he helped Talib a lot in his career early on.
Brett, who you got your slept on?
Real Live, K-Def.
I'm not mad at that.
Them dudes, man, had a string of underground bangers, and they just couldn't work together no more, man. I don't know what happened, but everything they threw out there was tight. I just don't know what happened with them cats, man.
In a minute, Real Live. All right, groups. Dopest group and a slept on group. Who you got? Who's your dopest group ever out of Jersey? And a slept on.
Yeah, the Poor Righteous Teachers, man.
Mad at that.
Shit.
Slept on. A slept on group, I would say Artifacts. Another slept on, can I name another one? No, the Outlaws.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
You said who?
Outlaws.
Outlaws.
Oh yeah.
That was my pick.
Tupac's crew.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gaddafi and Idi Amin in them.
All right, no doubt. For me, I'm with Gnu, the Poor Righteous Teachers. To me, it's about longevity. You know what I mean? Like, you know, for me, like I rock with their first 3 albums. You know, when I first thought this, I was like, I'm gonna go with the Fugees, but I'm like, to me, I only like one Fuji album. You know, I felt like the first one was a dud. They never had a follow up, so I'm like, my foundation of longevity has to mean something here. You know, Naughty had albums out, but I can't say I was a fan of all their albums.
Right.
Some people be like, oh man, the Roots got to be the greatest group ever because they got 19 albums out. Well, nigga, I only like 3, so it don't matter how many albums. If I only like 3 out of 19, I don't even want to do the math to see what that shit is. So I got PRT like Gnu, and then for my slept on group was the Outsiders. I felt like that whole crew was just, you know, I don't want to say Slaughterhouse before Slaughterhouse. What I'll say is they all had dope MCs. You know, Face was dope, Rod Digger was dope, Young Z was dope. People forget Eminem was with the Outsiders for a minute. You know what I mean? Voice was with the Outsiders for a minute. You know, so I just felt like, you know, nobody really talks about them at all. So, JR, who you got for the greatest and the slept on?
You nipped mine in the bud, because then I was thinking about it and I was like, Naughty by Nature, I don't like all the albums like that. And then the Fugees only got one good one. So it was like, you gotta nip this. I really don't got none, to be honest.
Well, I mean, well, who's your favorite? Even if,
Well, like, it would be the Fugees, of course.
All right, yeah, I got that. What about you, Easton?
Definitely Naughty, man. That's why I'm repping the top today. That would be my favorite favorite crew out of Jersey, man. Definitely. I think their first 4 albums for me are all good, man. I think they're all dope. But the first 3 in particular, I think they're brilliant albums, man. I still spin till today, man. I think they're heavy albums. And like Gnu, Slept On, I was going to say Outlaws as well.
All right, that's mine. That's dope. Eddie, what you got, man?
Probably going with Easton, saying Naughty by Nature. Probably, I mean, I was between them and the Fugees, but, really outside of that one Fugees album. So, Naughty by Nature got more, got more for me. And then, I already said it, but the Artifacts is my slept on.
Mm-hmm. They're on my list too.
Very slept on, man. I'm telling y'all, there was such a time that it was just so much hip hop. It was just so much that it's just like, I felt like if the Artifacts would come out right now, they'd be the #1 group. They'd be the dopest group. You know what I mean? But at that time, you're competing with Tribe, Gangstar, like Daylight. We can name groups that just are better. Like, I was reading this book called 7 Seconds or Less. It was about a season in the Phoenix Suns when Steve Nash, Sean Marion, and Maurice Stoudemire was there. And the whole book, Sean Marion is talking, he's hating the whole book. Like, yo, these motherfuckers keep acting like I'm the 3rd best player on the team. Nigga, you are the 3rd best player. You're not better than Maurice Stoudemire. So at the end of the day, like, if we just sat here, we could probably name 10 groups that are doper than the Artifacts, but that don't mean the Artifacts aren't dope. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that were just doper than them. We can name 10 5 mic groups, and maybe the Artifacts are 4.5, and they're still great, but they just don't have what you just wasn't messing with. Gangstar, Daylight, Tribe, Black Sheep. Like, you just weren't being able to crack those crevices like that, because everybody was just dope at that time. You know what I mean? So, I mean, at least you ain't the Double X posse. You know what I mean?
Nobody.
It was dope, but
because that's all they had.
I was about to say, Rack, ask me what else. Name another song, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna be able to do it. So.
Like the emoji, just
not gonna be able to do it.
Bro. Hey, yo, Q, you know another slept on cat from Jersey. Half of Das Effects, him too, but Crazy Drazy from Das Effects.
From Hackensack.
Crazy, yeah, you're right. I thought,
wow.
I didn't even think You're right. I thought Scoop was from the Books.
The Books from Laverne. He's from Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's from Brooklyn. And the other cat is
Drazy from Jersey.
They ran with the Brooklyn because at the time it was cooler to be from
popular.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yo, you know what? I may have an idea for a show just off of that. I may have an idea because that's one of the few groups where I thought both MCs were just equal.
Yeah.
Like, I never really was like, yo, Scoob is killing Dre or Dre is killing Scoob. Like, they were just, they literally was on some old, for my comic book says out there, Firestorm. Like, they just, both of them were just so dope and they were just DOS effects. Like, I don't even separate them niggas. Like, because they were just so dope together. You know how with Outkast, you like Dre, Tribe, Fife. I just never even separated them two. They were just literally like one entity because they were just so dope together. Now, Tron, you got anybody for slept on?
Yeah, Gnu and I think Eddie Easton said the Outsiders. I mean, not the Outsiders, the Outlaws. And unfortunately, I think it's only 2 members left because the other 2 guys got shot or something. Napoleon and I think Gaddafi,
died just after Tupac.
That was a weird mix with Pac. Why Pac? I don't even know how Pac and the Outlaws met, but
one of them is his cousin.
Yeah, Gaddafi's his cousin.
And the rest of that's his fam. So that's how they all linked up.
Hey man, let me tell y'all.
I need a documentary not on Pac, but just on all the deaths around Pac. Like,
I'm cool. I won't be nowhere near that shit. I don't even want to watch that motherfucker.
I don't think people understand how many people, like, they don't see the family tree of Pac and so many people that were murdered.
Yeah, like the Thug Life crew.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's people just play Pac and Big, and I'm like, yo, a lot of other people died behind this that the dots aren't connected to, but are definitely part. Vern, who you got for slept on MC, bro?
I don't have nobody. I mean, everybody that I know about Jersey, somebody has said already or whatever. So I'm here to learn.
No doubt.
But I will say this: that there's some stuff that with Pac and the Outlaws that the world has never heard. That is fire. My boys produce some stuff, but it didn't never see the light of day. Yeah.
That's crazy. And again, that to me, that's right up there with the shelved albums in hip hop. Like just the stuff that that we'll never hear. Like, I'm sure Pete Rock got thousands of tapes of people who came through the basement and recorded stuff that just we won't. Hell, I remember on Future Flavor, Pete used to play joints that, that he would just remix himself and just play joints here and there. It was just, crazy, man. So I definitely feel on that. Rec, who you got for Slept on MC? Anybody left?
Slept on MC or group?
I'm sorry, group.
Group, Lords of the Underground.
Lords of the
Underground. Those guys do not get their just due. And that's one of the best groups coming out of Jersey, in my opinion.
Why do you think
I totally forgot they were from Jersey.
Man. The time, man, you gotta remember, like, it was. That's the thing that this generation. It's so much music out now, but you got to dig through it. You got to dig through the shit to get to the good stuff. Everything that came out then was good.
Yeah.
It was good music.
It just wasn't good. It was great. Like everything that was coming out.
Correct.
Great.
Correct.
Funky Child, and what was the other joint?
Funky Child, Chief Rocker. Check It.
Yo,
shit.
TikTok.
TikTok.
At the party, like Chief Rocker could shut down.
And that album had 17, 18 songs on it, and 3 or 4 of them were singles.
But you know what? I'll give you a great example about what I was just talking about with the Artifacts. I never listened to the whole album.
It's a long album.
What's more dope is just, again, there was so many other groups that would just again, this generation doesn't get it, but in our generation, we listen to albums over and over and over and over. Like, I can't tell you how many times I listened to The Chronic, and then you'd be like, "These nuts," and we would imitate what would go on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So this generation would be like, "Oh, Redman, what? I listened 3 times and never listened to it again." No. Whereas we would listen to it
months,
300 times.
And it last long because of that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
that's the thing.
Because of that, other stuff couldn't get in because it's like, I'm banging Redman. So, I got the Noise of the Underground. Put that shit over there. I'll get to it when I'm done with rap.
Right.
Just never listen to the album.
Phil, I got another point that I just thought about. All these groups, we talk about how dope they are, how slept on they are, and artists, period. But none of them sound the same. And they're all from Jersey.
Right.
They're all from the same place. And they don't sound the same. Like, you got Lords of the Underground don't sound like, Naughty by Nature. They don't sound like the Artifacts. They don't sound like Poor Righteous Teachers. Like, everyone's unique.
And all within a 50-mile radius.
But I mean, insane. We got to understand the climate of. Somebody asked me today, does Blake Griffin get in the Hall of Fame? And I'm like, hell no. And he's like, look. What happened?
Somebody asked you what?
Does Blake Griffin get in the Hall of Fame?
Get into the Basketball Hall of Fame. And I said no. And he was talking about criteria. And I was like, to be honest, I don't have a criteria. I need to make one. But neither here nor there. He was saying that for him, if you are at the top 5 of your position for 5 years, then you should get into the Hall. And I'm like, I disagree. Maybe if you're the top 2 or top 3 of your position for 5 years. And then he's like, well, that would exclude Oakley and I mean Ewing and other people. And I'm like, but they're different eras. See, in the 90s, it did have to be in the top 5 because you're talking about that, you know, but nowadays, who's the best center? I mean, now we don't even have centers in the All-Star game.
Right.
Guards and just pick some people now. Like, so again, it almost has to shift. So like Rex said, everything that was coming out was great. And like I said, I never heard, here's something that people bug out. I never heard Souls of Mischief's first album. I've never heard the whole album. I know Bird.
He just couldn't get to it.
But you know, if we all sit here, we all have heard.
We have an example. Yeah,
there's going to be holes in our hip hop.
That there was something that just never could crack it, and I love That's When You Lost. In '93, Till Infinity is one of the greatest songs ever in the history of human beings, of just music. But whenever that album dropped, I guarantee you something better was on. Something, I don't know, if Midnight just dropped. I don't know if I was still listening to Low End. I don't know if Smith & Wesson dropped. I don't know the dates. But whatever I was listening to at that time, my rotation was so tight that you just weren't breaking it. We gonna say, Vern?
You know, another reason why that is, because you couldn't just go on YouTube and type in it and listen to everything. See, that you had to go buy the CD or the tape. Your boy had to have it, and y'all swapped up or whatever. But now you have access to everything. So that's another reason.
You know what, Vern? That's a great point, because the crazy thing is, you know, from doing 88.9 all those years, I just got everything for free. So when I left and I moved to Atlanta, and like I had to buy a CD, like it felt like so like, oh my god, I got to spend $99 for one, because for 7 years I've been getting everything for free, and it's just like, yo, and then that makes you really start thinking about, what do I want to buy, because
what am I gonna buy?
The CD is almost there. We might as well call it $20, like you know what I mean? And it's like, what am I gonna buy? I'll never forget. I must have been home for the summer, because Pete and CL's second album, Main Ingredient, dropped, and Diggable dropped. And at the time, I only had $20, and I went with Pete and CL. You know? What's up, Vern?
I'm sorry, I thought I was.
Oh, yeah. So that was my thing, that I went with Pete and CL instead of Diggable. So I never heard that whole Diggable album until like later on in life. Like, you know, where like Vern was saying that I could just listen to it online or something like that, because you had to buy it. You know what I'm saying? And when we was in college, 8 CDs dropped this week. We all ain't spending $90, $100 at what was the joint across the street? I forgot the name of that record store that was across the street from us.
Yeah, I forget too.
Yeah, but we wasn't spending all our money, $100, you know, on music. So it's kind of just like, that's a great point, Vern. Definitely a great point.
To kill. Hold up, I had one more. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just sort of like to confirm what you're saying, because before you're spending £10-15 or what have you on one drop, when now all you're doing is spending $9.99 on a streaming service. You're listening to multiple albums every day, 10 albums, 5 albums are dropping a week. You're just listening, having one listen, don't really like that, you're on to the next one. But like you said, when you spend your last £10-15 on an album, you're going to listen to every song on that album and make sure you're feeling it or not, but you're going to get your money's worth. So what happens now is just going through it really quickly and not listening to whole albums and putting out and also and missing out.
Yeah, they used to get you out on release day, because you like, if you didn't buy on release day, then you're gonna pay like $18, $19, $20. But release day it was always on sale.
Yeah.
So you had to make sure you bought it on the first week.
Or the first
week. The first week.
It was gonna get you.
It was a wrap. And again, I challenge them all the time. Like, me and Eb did a show about it called Stop Speed Dating Hip Hop. Like, stop being in such a, like, I'm going to spend at least a week with an album. I want to live with it.
Definitely.
I want to take the time. Because here's what happened. The fun part for me, at least growing up, was knowing the words. You know what I mean? From the first time I heard Roxanne, it was like, who's going to get on the school bus? I was in 4th grade. Who's going to get on the school bus? Who's going to be able to recite Dr. Ice's whole rap? Who's going to be able to recite that? So I come from an era where you wanted. Do you know how many times we be sitting on my step like, all right, B.I.G. did double D with K.N.E. Like, we sat there trying to figure out how we were going to say these words. And I, you know, realized like, yo, somebody will be like, "Yo, Benny's Canatone 3 is my favorite album of the year," and I'm like, "I bust a verse," and they
don't know it. They don't know it.
Like I'm like, "Yo, how is an album your favorite album of an entire year, and you can't even give me a verse, not even the whole song?" I think if we put on Big Daddy Kane's "Ain't No Half Stepping," 9 times out of 10, everybody up here is gonna be able to rhyme along with it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Kill, put on number 3. What's the name of it, man?
You don't even know the name of the
number 3.
You don't even know the name of the songs anymore. So I'm always challenging people. Like, I get it. Music is always dropping, but take some time and just live with the album for a while. Just take the time to spend a week with it. Spend time with the other music. It will still be there. But the problem is that we have to talk about it on the timeline.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Because here's the thing. If Gangstar drops on Friday, and I don't listen to it for 3 weeks, by the time I'm ready to discuss it, people are like, "Nigga, we done moved on. We don't know. We don't want to talk." So that's the problem, that if you want to be part of those conversations, you have to listen to it. For me, I don't mind not being part of the conversation. So that's one of the reasons why I'm able to do it. But even when I used to write for a couple of online magazines, I had to stop because they were like, "Kill, we need a review of this in a 2-day turnaround." I'm like, "Yo, I can't give you a 2-day turnaround on if I really like an album." Because again, back in our day at the radio station, we would get the album a month, 2 months before it came out. So that gave us 2 months to live with it before we reviewed it. The same thing with the source. The same with any type of musical publication, you were getting this album at least a month before it dropped. Now it's like the album comes out Friday, and if I don't post a review of it by Monday, I might as well not even post a review at all because nobody's going to hear it. So that's that part. And Easton, that's a good point too, that you can stream it. I'm sure if I could have streamed Souls of Mischief and I had everything on my phone, then I probably would have listened to it one day. You know,
it's too easy now, Kill. It's too easy. Like back in the day, we had to search, especially if you was digging for records or samples. You had to go to this record store, that record store.
Only the white label. You know how hard it was for me to find these? It's 2 copies.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know how hard it was for me to find these? And I didn't pay $5 for these. Right. They don't understand that.
Right. I'm trying you right. Nobody wants to do that work anymore.
You got to pay for these. You just ain't getting this. Kill. Look at Kill. I bet you Kill will punch you in your mouth if you came in his crib to try to take one of his records, yo. Shout out to Push.
Young Leak Jiggle It.
Yeah, you remember what? Shout out to Push.
That's all I know about
AKA Snoop.
That's all I know about
Push is Young Snoop.
Yeah, Snoop was about to peel his cat.
Hey, we living in a new day and time where people don't live with the music. So that's always my challenge. Take some time, especially if it's an artist you love. Like, learn to rap along with the lyrics. Like, that was the fun part of the album, was being able to rap along with it. And if you can't rap along, I ain't good at math. It's very simple. Can you rap along with your favorite album last year? If not, the nigga, that ain't your favorite album last year.
We used to sit down and write out the lyrics.
I know when Boomerang comes on, I can sit there and recite the whole damn movie.
The whole movie.
Like, I just watch the movie. Same thing with Beat Street. I recite it. I do the breaking moves. I do because I watched it a million times. So you get your favorite, and you only listen to it 3 times because you had to hurry up and get ready for whoever else will drop the next week. All right, this may be a little harder because I never thought about this until this show. Who is your dopest producer from Jersey? Because most producers don't wear where they're from on their sleeve like that. So I had to do some digging because the first person who came to mind was obvious, but then I didn't realize some other producers from Jersey. So Gnu, who do you have for your dopest producer and a slept-on producer from Jersey?
Dopest producer, I would say, is Just Blaze.
Okay, yeah.
And,
all right, that's mine too.
Okay. My slept on, I would say Tony D.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I'm the same. I got the same exact thing with another slept on producer. I forgot Just Blaze was from Patterson. You know what I mean? Like, because he doesn't wear it. You don't know. You just don't know. You know, he's not like, I don't know if you would know Kanye West from Chicago if he was just a producer. Like, I think you know that because he raps and he talks about it. But if he was a Just Blaze,
talk about Patterson. I mean, he don't like, wear it on his, on his.
I mean, but see, the thing is with Just, like, if you don't hear it in an interview, you don't hear it because he's not talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my slept on Tony D. This is a joint right there they had. Tony D, aka Harvey Wallbanger.
Yeah.
It was like a little compilation album he had.
Hey man, don't let nobody borrow that.
Oh, no.
Bro, that is one of the rarest joints.
That is.
Bro,
don't let nobody borrow that.
Bro, even this YZ joint, you ain't finding this.
No, you're not. I wish I still had my tape.
But yeah. This is a very, very, very slept on, and it's very hard to find too. The other producer I had is slept on, and who was before I remember Just Blaze. You know what? I'm not giving it to Just. I'm gonna go left for my favorite producer from Jersey, KG.
KG, yep.
That was my initial one, and now I saw Just. And I'll give it to Just. But again, we go back to my foundation. This is why I be telling people on the timeline. You gotta have a foundation on what you stand on. Like I said, the reason Just does not get in my top 10, he has never produced a complete album for anyone. He's done 70% of Freeway's first album. Nigga, that ain't 100. He did 70% of Saigon's first album. Again, I ain't great at math, but 70% ain't 100. He has not produced an entire album. Right, bro. I'm with you. I'm counting like that ain't 100. It's close, but close you don't win. People don't understand. KG has had his hands in both hip hop
and
R&B.
Yes. Resume is stupid.
Nate's first album, classic.
Yes.
All the naughty albums that Easton has been talking about today. We're talking about, and here's one of the hardest songs.
He did UNITY, right?
Yeah.
He done UNITY.
He did.
Yeah. That's even doper. Here's the thing, because I'm gonna talk about some R&B. He did Jaheim. Okay. I see JR's not happy.
The king of R&B.
Put that woman first. Put that woman first is one of my favorite joints.
No.
The first song he did. What happened?
He the Brunswick dude.
Yeah, he's from New Brunswick.
Where we at?
All right.
From New Brunswick.
And he did the first single for Jaheim. I forgot what the name of that was when he was working at the car wash.
Just in case.
No, not just in case.
Could it be?
Could it be? That bangs. That Could It Be still bangs to this day. He did Kanye. He did Next. People get He did Latifah. He's done Mary. He's done Luther. He's done Run DMC. He did the Rotten Rascals. But
the Rotten Rascals.
He did Biggie with 112. But the joint is my favorite joint ever. Out of Philly, the youngsters, Cruise Pop.
Cruise Pop.
He did
Cruise Pop.
Yeah.
Pop.
Oh, that was a hit.
That beat right there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because Stretch wrote it.
If your face don't make a news face when I say Cruise Pop, when you play it, you are the feds. When Cruise Pop comes on, you better scrunch up your face like you about to rob somebody. I ain't one of them people. You got to do coke shit. You ain't undercover. Nigga, I'm going to play you some hip hop. I'm going to play you Cruise Pop. If your face don't scrunch up, nigga, you can get up out of here. And then another thing that people don't talk about that was hard as hell, D Nice's Time to Flow. It was
really?
How he did D Nice's Time to Flow.
What?
Wow. For all the people out there who only know D Nice from the damn pandemic, what is it? The COVID carnival? What he got? The quarantine.
IG Live. The DJ.
Quarantine. He got something called the quarantine culture or something.
Club quarantine.
I said quarantine culture. Club COVID. Before
Quarantine Culture Club.
And before he was a photographer, D Nice was a rapper. And he was down with BDP. People don't even notice about D Nice. He was down with Movie Down Productions. Actually produced the bulk of the second BDP album By Any Means Necessary. KRS just gave him the props for that after years of everybody thinking KRS. D Nice.
The other one produced Self-Destruction too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, produced Self-Destruction.
He did Self-Destruction. He had the joint Just Call Me D Nice, but on his second album, he had a joint out called Time to Flow.
Time to Flow, that was dope. I forgot about that.
Here we go.
Time to Flow.
YouTube Time to Flow, YouTube Cruise Pop, and then look at all the R&B stuff that this dude gave you. KG is the producer out of Jersey.
Yes.
JR, who you got, good brother?
That's why I was gonna say KG, because a lot of people don't know the stuff that he did. That's why I was gonna say he was underrated as that, because he got his hand in R&B like serious, so you already know that. But I was gonna say Just Blaze as that, but I gave KG underrated because they don't know this dude did a lot. You know what I mean? So, y'all nip that.
No doubt. No doubt. You got good, brother.
Exactly the same. We've got Just Blaze as my favorite producer from Jersey. He's actually top 5 for me. And then I had KG down as Slept On.
All right, Eddie, what about you?
Yep, same. Just Blaze, KG. Like, I think he slept on because, you know, he's obviously not a household name, but he should be. Like, he just, you know, Just Blaze because he tells you who he is on every track. Just Blaze, right?
Right.
So, you know, producer tags wasn't a thing like that, but he got a crazy resume, so definitely slept on.
Now, I think another thing with KG is a lot of times it just said produced by Naughty by Nature. So to me, he falls into the tip thing. So for all those years it said produced by a Tribe Called Quest, I know most of us thought Ali was doing the beat.
I did.
So
I did.
I think if we saw from People's Instinctives to the end of the story, if it always said produced by Q-Tip, I think we would be talking about Q-Tip in a higher best producer on the mic, best producer type thing. But for all just saying produced by a Tribe Called Quest, it kind of just left it up in the air. And the same thing with Naughty. If it's just saying produced by Naughty by Nature, you really may not put KG with it. And for a lot of people, they don't read the liner notes. So they don't know Next, they don't know Coffee Brown, they don't know Jaheim, they don't know he did all these things. So that's it. Neltron, who you got, good brother?
Same as y'all, KG, man. It's amazing, his resume, man. It's just ridiculous, bro. You know, so that's who I had.
Yeah, to me, that's definitely one of the producers I would love to interview, just from a production standpoint, from being a producer, just on some money. How did you go in between these two worlds so effortlessly? Like, you know, like you make Cruise Pop, but then you turn around and make, you know, Hip Hop Hooray. You know what I mean? So you're able to make a gutter song and then make a song that had every nigga, no matter how hard you was up in the party, going, hey, ho, like, that's an ability to be able to do that and, you know, do it so flawlessly too, and do it over and over again. It's like, okay, Naughty ain't popping, let me go grab Jaheim. Oh, Jaheim ain't popping, let me go grab Janae. Oh, Janae not popping, let me go grab these 3 niggas next. So they ain't popping, let me make another group called Coffee Brown and get them popping while producing, you know, like Ed said, the likes of Big, Mary, Luther, all the way through. Vern, who you got, bro?
I'm going with popular opinion, KG, but I'm about to pull one out of left space. It ain't even out of left field. I don't care what nobody say. Fight me. I like that first album, Prince B, from you know, Paper Doll. Y'all don't know who I'm talking about now.
Nah, you're talking about the nigga who KRS off the stage.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, is that the nigga? That's not Prince Marky D. That's not Prince, but Prince B. Okay.
I mean, when that album came out, it was unlike anything I had ever heard, and I love how niggas now hardcore be fronting. Somebody bought that album, you know.
It had tracks on it, man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. I never heard it, but I love the song he had on the Boomerang soundtrack. Like that song he had on the Boomerang
Lost Without
soundtrack.
You, Die Without You, Die Without You.
And you know what though?
PM Dawn?
Yeah.
If PM Dawn came out now, it wouldn't get too much flack. It wouldn't get all the flack because now, you know, with Aubrey and all these other artists that are blending, you know.
And here's the funny thing that a lot of people don't know about Prince B. I didn't know about until I really got into digging. This nigga would be at every record convention.
Yeah.
Ask P Rock.
With this thing, he would take with all the records.
Love say that about him.
And buy everything. Like he would just be like, give me the whole wall. Like, and then just so he was a digger too. You know, like he was into the craft. But like I said, I just can't speak on it because I never heard the album. But I do love that one song. That one song is timeless to me. Like,
yeah, definitely.
I definitely get that. Rex on mute right now. So all right, y'all, dope show. You know, GNU. Rex, who you got for your producer?
Producer, we're going Just Blaze, man. Ain't no need to beat a dead horse, man.
And we just
slept on. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Oh, producing wise. Yeah. Okay.
That's true.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Well, look,
DJ first.
Dope salute to Jeru today. Gnu, thank you for being a tour guide. You know what I mean? When you come to Jeru, that's what you need.
Yeah, I should have grabbed mine. It's in the closet.
You know, hit up Gnu, find out where you need to go, whatever like
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yo, hit me up, y'all.
Hey, Gnu, y'all still got a toll every mile on the freaking Jersey Turnpike, man?
Nah, man, that's every time you get on and get off.
Yeah, every exit.
No left turn. That's
Can't pump your gas.
Word.
boy, you turn.
Yes. Oh no. Yeah, we still got attendance out here, but we go to PA. You got to do your own shit.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
All right, Neltron, give them everything, good brother. Where can they get at you? On Twitter, IG, anything you got?
IG, Neltron 8000, Twitter, Neltron 8000.
All right, no doubt. Earn the loan closer. Tell them where
Yo, man, first of all, before I do that, I got to shout out my man Nell, man. Bruh, we've been exchanging music for the last, 2-3 years. I'm I'm sure he's a fusion head, I'm a fusion head. Put me on the Brazilian joints and stuff like that. I do hate you about this though. That one joint you sent me, it starts with an A, so every time I get in my car, the same song comes on.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
But on Instagram it's V the Loan Closer, Twitter V Channel 10.
All right, no doubt. DJ Rec 1, let them know where you at, where they can tune in, where you DJ and all that good stuff.
Man, I wish I was DJing somewhere. St. Louis is a different beast. So check it out. Instagram is at DJ Rec 1. Twitter is at DJ Rec 1. Still doing Denver Fridays, 10 o'clock. The foundation is there. Texas Fleet Radio. Foundation is there Wednesdays at 9. Just trying to make it happen, man. That's about it.
Are you still taking indie? Are you still taking indie artists?
Always. So if there's any indie artists out there, send me your music, preferably clean versions. If you got a dirty version, I'll listen to it, but it's not gonna get played. I can't do nothing for you because my radio stations track BDS spins, so I can't play curses. Got to be clean. If you know what a DJ service pack is, that's what you send me. Send it to djrec1bookings@gmail.com. I'm gonna say it again, djrec1bookings@gmail.com. I'll go through it, leave me some information so I can get back to you, and then we'll go from there. And then I did the intro for my man King Shams's album, Dawn of the Dead. I did the scratches on that for him. I keep forgetting to plug it, man. You're going to kill me. King Shams, dope artist out of Philly. Just trying to, do my thing, man. Trying to be like Kill, man, and drop dope beats,
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, everybody out there who rap, if you don't know how to do a clean version in 2021,
bro, listen to me.
And have a real and you had to splice it and do, nigga, get you Audacity, okay?
There's a lot of them.
How to edit a song?
They won't do it.
Make the clean version. I'm just telling you, I got some of these people back through remedial hip hop 101. Like, yo, you don't clean your music up. It's not that.
They won't do it, bro.
We talking. This is remedial MCing right now. So do better. All right. Tell them all about the iCast podcast, good brother.
Yo, check us out every week, man, on YouTube. New Tech presents the iCast podcast. Check us out on IG, man, at the iCast, and also on IG. You follow me at Mr. Gary Gnu.
And are you still on Twitter?
I am on Twitter, man. You know what I mean? I don't really use Twitter like that, but I'm Mr. Gary 73. Only time I really fuck with Twitter is when you helping me do some shit on Twitter. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
I need to get on that though. I don't really plug my Twitter like that, but it's Mr. Gary Gnu 73.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, give him everything, good brother.
Yes, sir. So just like Rec 1 said, independent artists, go hit them up. Hit me up too. I'm doing stuff, freestyles.com. I'm doing reviews, write-ups, I'll help promote your music, if you're down to do an interview, man, we do that. Actually, I had I had a project I did, Hip Hop Memories. I had Gary, Gnu, and JR on, sharing their dopest, fondest hip hop memories. So that was dope. So I'm doing a lot right now. I got a family situation. I'm taking family time, but I'm definitely gonna come back strong. But if you're an independent artist, man, you got some dope shit, man. Just send it my way, man.
Get at him.
And Twitter at EddieD80, and Instagram at Freestyle.
All right, Easton, giving everything good, brother.
I'm only on Twitter at the moment, Easton Major. So follow me on there. We can chop it up about music and some other good stuff, man. And I'm also doing a hip hop blog at the moment as well. That's all in my bio, but it's everythingspotlight.blogspot.com. So hit me up there, man.
All right, JR, the R&B rep.
JR's World of Soul on Instagram and Twitter. You can also, I'm one half of the R&B Reps. Y'all can check that, rnbreps.com. Our radio show is on Thursday from 2 to 4. WFDU 89.1, HD2 on iHeartRadio. We do our lives on Tuesday. And yeah, that's it.
All right, no doubt. You already know it is with me, Kill889, Twitter, IG. We'll make beats for food.com. Again, Apartment 5B is sponsored by What's the Scenario, board game, that card game, cop it, so what games.com. Promo code Apartment 5B, you get free shipping, dope game, and support. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we'll spend $20-$30 on all these other games from Target. This is about hip hop, done by a black man, so definitely support this. And I'll check y'all next week, y'all. Good looking.
All right, peace.
Peace.